what's up? Hello. Back by popular demand, Polo Ascencio is my guest today on Cardinal Territory. We're coming to you. He's live from St. Louis. I do see the sun, so that's a nice sign. The St. Louis Cardinals probably happy to get out of Boston. They were the Red Sox. The pitching staff as a whole gave up 36 runs and 46 hits. That is not going to do it. They went 1-5 over the last week. Welcome back to reality. Polo, what do you got?
Watching the St. Louis, first of all, before we get into it, thank you, Katie Wu. And I know when you say by popular demand, it was probably my daughter with her 17 different handles asking for me to be back. So thank you, Katie, and everybody at Fall Territory. Watching that series of the Cardinals in Boston was like watching a lamp fall slowly, knowing that it's going to break and you cannot do anything to stop that lamp from falling and breaking. But the lamp doesn't break because it's made out of plastic, like bamboo. It bends, but it does not break. And just as a lot of people were not on the wagon after the Cardinals swept the Minnesota Twins, now people are like, you see, I told you they were not that good. I mean, we as fans are really fickle. Like when our team, and in this case, we're talking about the Cardinals, when they sweep somebody early in that team is bad, that team is not, oh my God, they don't have any good pitching. But then they lose to the Red Sox. You see, I told you we were terrible. It's like, who are we? What are we? And I get it. There was a lot of runs, and yet the pitching didn't help. And, Ryan Helsley, I mean, how many times is he going to do that in a season? Maybe twice. And Katie, and anybody who's followed baseball over the years, we know that relievers, especially closers, they're gonna mess up once or twice a season. And hey, Ryan Helsley, that was his one for the month of April. Hopefully he doesn't have one maybe until the month of June, and then he goes on a path of destruction and just burns everybody with the hell's bells. So yeah, it was a really bad series. But it's not the end of the world. Again, it's only 9 games into the season, and a lot of people are, this is terrible, this is horrible. Come on, people. Before the season started, a lot of you had the Cardinals at 2-7 after 9 games. They're 4-5, right? So guess what? We are ahead of the game. Now we go to Pittsburgh, then we come back home against Philadelphia. Let's see what happens. I mean, let the boys play, and let's look at the good, at the positive. And you know me, Katie. I am very pessimistic, right? A lot of people, you're always so happy. And I'm like, no, it's not that I'm happy. It's just like I am a pessimistic that puts a good act out there for people. And I still see this team doing good. Like when with the Minnesota Twins and the series against the Angels. Oh, look at the starting pitchers. Oh, everybody's pitching 5-6 innings. Oh my God, this is great. This is great. They go to Boston. Fetty has a bad night. Michaelis has a bad night. Let's hope that's not the norm, and it's just something that happened in Boston. And again, Boston is weird. The history, the ghost, the Fenway Park, the little thing that walks around with the big green head, and then the celebration, Wally, and then
so cute.
And his girlfriend or wife, or who is she? The mistress? I have no idea who she is, but she's with Wally all over the place. So you know what? It's Boston. Give it to them. It was their opening series. Let's move on. To me, after the first, after everybody opens their season, now the real season starts, right? And going into Pittsburgh, it's not going to be easy. I know you're going to face this really tough pitching. What happens if the guys continue to hit? And I know that, I don't want to go ahead and move ahead to what we want to talk about, or you want to talk about, because I have no idea what she wants to talk about.
Me either.
Yeah. That's what makes you great, Katie. We don't know what we're going to talk about. And next thing you know, it's going to be 40 minutes. You're like, you know what? We already went too long. So let's see what happens. It's 9 games into the season. I still like what I see. And yeah, the pitching, again, against Boston, it wasn't great, but the hitting was pretty good, right? So coming into the season, the question was, are this guy's going to hit? Is this going to hit? Is this guy going to hit? Well, guess what? Everybody is hitting. Even Wilson Contreras is hitting little by little. Mason Wynn, the first few games here in St. Louis, he goes to Boston, hits everywhere. So people, relax, come down, and trust me, I'm not drinking no Kool-Aid. I'm not a company man. I say what I feel, and what I feel right now is like, let's not panic. It's way too early to panic. The Central Division is going to be a tough one, but I still believe this team can take it. And I'm not going to say they can take it easily, but they can take it.
I feel like fans needed to hear some positive talk because it was not a positive weekend. I mean, I had fun in Boston. I had fun. I definitely.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Lamps, thank you.
Finally 21.
Finally 21. Another year older, definitely not wiser. Actually, getting dumber by the year, I think.
Yes. I second that.
I think it was just not a very positive weekend in general, not just because of the pitching performances. Obviously, talked about Fetty, not a good spot. Miles, disastrous outing. Palante was all right. He's working on some things. It wasn't an efficient outing by any means, but he kept them in the ball game. But we have to get to some news first, and we'll thank our friends, FanDuel Sports Network, for their scouting report here. Iván Herrera hits the 10-day injured list officially today. Joel Pozo selected from Memphis with the corresponding move. Herrera left knee inflammation sustained in Game 1 of Sunday's doubleheader. And I don't know if you watched it in real time. I did. It was a non-contact injury as he was running from first to third on a Nolan Arenado single in the third inning. And anytime you see a non-contact injury, specifically with the leg, I always feel the worst. And I saw it immediately with my little binoculars. And the way that Herrera stopped immediately and could not put any weight on his leg, and how fast Oli Marmol and head trainer Adam Olsen came out, I immediately thought, oh no, I hope this is not like an ACL or an Achilles situation. Good news here, while it is certainly not good news that Herrera, who's been the Cardinals' best hitter here, will miss time, the Cardinals believe he's avoided any serious damage. He went under MRIs and testing in Boston, and all of those showed no structural damage. Meniscus is fine. Ligaments are fine. There is some inflammation, so he will require that IL stint. But all things considered, they don't think it's a serious injury. We talked to Herrera after Sunday night's game. He said the same. He said it felt like a shooting pain when it first happened, but now that he's been able to walk around, put some weight on it, it's not as bad as anyone initially feared. So hate that for Herrera. Hate it for Nolan Gorman, who ended up on the IL on Friday with a right hamstring strain. But if we're taking some silver linings from these players' injuries, it's that neither are expected to miss this amount of time. Now, what does this mean for the Cardinals and their catching situation? Pedro Paz, he's going to take the majority of the starts. I'm not sure if he's going to be cleared to go today. Travel day, and now here they are in Pittsburgh for the night game. So maybe you'll see Pozo get the start today. But until Herrera comes back, you're going to see Pedro Paz behind the plate. What do you think you need to see from Pedro? Obviously, the bat is not the same as Herrera's, and I read about that in the Athletic last week. But kind of fill that gap. He's certainly a capable catcher. We know that.
He is. He's capable of catching. He's capable of throwing, and he can hit. Right? Obviously, Iván, 3 home runs here, 1 home run over there. So it's at least at the beginning, the numbers are explosive. They're like they are on your, like in your face. Everybody's looking at the 4 home runs. But Pedro can hit. He proved it last season when he had consistency, and he is going to be able to hit. Now, with Iván out, hopefully, again, I don't know much more than what you just said. Hopefully, it's just the 10 days. Hopefully, he comes back. And when he comes back, how is he going to come back? Is he going to be able to play behind the plate? Is he going to be able to stay, 7, 8 innings a game, and then in the 9th, Pedro comes in and finishes it? Is he going to be able to do that? So I think Oli and the coaches are going to have to be really careful with him. And knowing Iván, and we all know that he works really, really hard, not only as a catcher, as a hitter, but also with his body, like conditioning and all that is really tough. He is hard on it. So hopefully that work that he did in the offseason translates to now. Right. And he comes back strong. He comes back a little relaxed and a little, just not so much pressure on him or his knees. No pun intended. So let's see what Pedro does. And what I've learned about Pedro Picapiedra, as I called him, by the way, so when I called Pedro's home runs, I say Pedro Picapiedra because in Spanish, Fred Flintstone is Pedro Picapiedra. So when I called the Yabba Dabba Doo, it's not me just saying stuff that makes no sense. Trust me, makes sense because it's Yabba Dabba Doo. Ro at the end, duro means hard. So Yabba Dabba Duro, Yabba Dabba hard. Pedro Picapiedra, Fred Flintstone, hits the ball really, really hard. There you go. In case you were wondering why I do yabba dabba do. And by the way, he told me when he was a little kid, some people called him Pedro Pica Piedra because he's strong and hefty like Pedro Pica Piedra. So with that said, I think this is not a terrible situation for the Cardinals because, as you know, Katie, and as we know, baseball gods always puts everybody in place, right? They always have a way of fixing or putting people in place. And what this does, it tells the Cardinals, play Pedro a little more behind the plate. And then when Iván comes back, take it slowly with him. And you have another option when it comes down to DH. Now, again, I don't know what Oli and the coaches are doing. So hopefully this is more than hurts the Cardinals, helps them set up different things, different situations. And I know that the start of the hitting has been really, really good, except maybe for Wilson Contreras that he's going to get there. But I'm not worried about Pedro being behind the plate and not having the bat of Iván Herrera. Somebody else is going to pick it up. And the other thing about Joel Pozo, I had a chance to talk to him. I was actually there in spring training when he showed up for the first couple of days, and he was talking to Moises Rodriguez, who is scouting international for the Cardinals. And Moises told him, we tried to sign you back in the early 2010s when you were still in Venezuela, but then he signed with Texas. And the story goes, and I retweeted your tweet yesterday. He told Moises there, it's like, well, in November, I signed with the Braves one day, and then the very next day they released me. They didn't even let me know. Like, he didn't have a job, and he didn't even know. And then somehow the Cardinals figured it out. The agent called, I believe, and that's how they signed him. So this kid, he's not a young kid. He's not a rookie. He's somebody with a lot of experience. He's been in professional baseball since 2013 when he signed with Texas. So I believe he will be a very good backup until Iván comes back. And let's see what happens then. But for now, Cardinal Nation, don't worry about it. Pedro's going to be fine. He's going to be fine behind the plate. And I'm a big believer of the power of Fred Flintstone and the Bronto Burgers of Pedro Pica Piedra. So that's what I have for you, Katie, on that regard.
Well, if the Cardinals fans are interested in knowing more about Joel Pozo, there's a really strong story by.
Is it Joel or Joel?
You know what? Let me check the pronunciation.
I think it's Joel. I mean, it is with a Y, but I believe he pronounces it Joel.
Okay, so take it for what it's worth. In the MLB pronunciation guide that was sent to us earlier today, it says pronounced Joel. So
Joe with the J or with the Y?
J-O-E-L. The E-L is capitalized.
You see, in Spanish, that is Joel.
I'm gonna just ask him when I see him.
Yes. Great. That's great. Great journalism.
Capital J journalism.
Yeah, it's paying off. Arizona State University School of Journalism pays off.
But Pozo has such an interesting and unique story, and Levi Weaver of The Athletic did a nice profile on him a couple of years ago. And his story, I'll say, does not start out in the most uplifting ways, but to get where he is now and the lessons that he's learned, I strongly recommend any Cardinals fan go read it and check it out. But yeah, we'll see him. We'll see Pages behind the plate. I'd like to see Pedro do a little bit better with the framing. I thought on Sunday it could have been a little better. But again, this is a guy who is commended by his teammates for his game prep, for his preparation, his study plan. I mean, Andre Palante was singing Pedro Pages' praises yesterday after the game. Pedro works very, very hard. No, he does not have the pure power barrel bat of Iván Herrera, but he's more than capable of getting things done. Heck, he drove in 3 runs on Sunday, coming in as an emergency replacement. So I think he'll be just fine there. Something I do want to talk about is the bullpen. And as a bullpen believer, I'm refusing to admit that I was wrong. But no, I do think we have some things to address there with the bullpen. I think it's pretty interesting. We'll get a first kind of look at how Oli Marmol does his development in real time. First, though, we need to hear from our pals at Hungry Root.
Kratz, do you like spending an hour on grocery shopping?
Nope. Speed up the process, please.
Introducing Hungry Root to the FT fam.
Now we can all be bougie with our own personal shopper to handle the food shopping, including Rex, based on what you're looking to put in your body.
I stack my Hungry Root box with items like gluten-free, dairy-free blueberry waffles for breakfast, shrimp veggie bowls for lunch, and a little filet mignon with potatoes and broccolini for dinner.
You can also say just, hey, Hungry Root, I eat paleo, or I'm vegetarian, and they load up your cart with personalized recommendations.
And those recs keep evolving as they learn about what you're into. Also, no BS, as in no artificial sweeteners or preservatives in any of Hungry Root's food. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as FT does. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/FT and use code FT. That's hungryroot.com/FT, code FT to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life.
No shade, no cap. I just got really, really hungry.
So I haven't eaten yet today. 2:00. Let's talk about beat writer travel. Quick rant. And this is part of the job. I'm used to it by now. But we just did a doubleheader, 19 innings, because anytime there's a doubleheader, there's going to be extra innings. That's just the rule. I leave Fenway at midnight. I get to my hotel at 1. My alarm was up at 4:45. 8 a.m. flight to Pittsburgh. Back at the hotel. I got to be at PNC Park in about 60 minutes. We're still back. I knew we were back when in the first week of the season, we had 3 rain delays, 3 extra innings, and a doubleheader. And you and I both grew up in California, so this rain delays were not a thing for me growing up. I never saw the tarp at Oracle Park or at the Coliseum. I was like, what a waste of space. Now I see the tarp.
It's there. It's part of the picture. It's part of the background or the scenery or everything. And I know, when I used to go to games in LA and when I worked with the Dodgers, I think I saw that thing maybe in 10 years, maybe 3 times, maybe 3 times, and never postponement let's stop the game and then we'll play, but never hey, come back in 3 weeks. But it is the Midwest. It is St. Louis. That's why they have a day in between opening day and the rest of the week. And to have a little rain opening day, it's I think it's washing away the bad thoughts of those out there. They're still negative about the Cardinals, and I get it, right? Negative sells more than happiness, unless you're really, really good, like the Blues are doing right now here in St. Louis.
RPB, let's go Blues.
I know. Hey, let's get the cup. Let's turn into. I went to the game the other day. It was fun. It was
I like
a lot
Blues
of fun.
Games. I have too much fun at Blues games. If you've ever seen me at a Blues game, I'm sorry. That's not a true reflection of who I am.
No, it is. So, but it's fun. Right now, it's beautiful. It's sunny. It's a little windy. And right now, it's great. But if you look at the weather for the weekend, it might not be this great. But hopefully, things change. The weather, the pattern, summer. Beautiful pool here at One Cardinal Way, which, by the way, you are invited again. And then let's see what
does not need to be. If you ever see me at One Cardinal Way, I'm so sorry. That's not a true reflection of who I am.
Now, is it a true reflection of what we saw, or is it true what we saw? Is that the reflection of the Cardinals bullpen, Katie? I mean, I think, and I believe you and I had this conversation, and nothing against anybody, right? Like if you see me 10, 12, 13, 15, whatever years ago when I started in this business, I was not as good as I am. I was good, but not like who I am right now.
Right, we grow, we develop.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
development in media too.
So, and there's development in baseball. And I get it. They have the minor leagues, high school, college, minor leagues, then the big leagues. And I still think this bullpen is really, really young. Even though, Roycroft was here last season, Leahy was here last season, Brian Fernandez had a great season, Jojo's been here for a couple of years, of course, Helsley and Phil Maton, he's the veteran, and you can tell he is the veteran.
Yes.
He comes in, and it's basically lights out. So when it comes down to the bullpen, I like it, but I don't know if I love it yet. And I feel that if this Cardinal team continues to win, and they're going to continue to win, I don't know. I wonder if there might be a change or two coming in the bullpen because, like I said, experience makes you better most of the time. So hopefully the experience makes the guys better. And you saw them in Boston. They were used over and over again. Now let's see what happens in this series in Pittsburgh. I mean, Graceffo yesterday, he came in and he took it for the bullpen, right?
Yeah.
So that was good to see. But now let's see what happens with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and let's see how the starters react to what the bullpen how much the bullpen has been working, and let's see what the coaches say in a couple of days. Hopefully, Sonny and everybody else goes 7, 8 innings, and we don't talk about this. But let's see what happens. And I'm not worried about the bullpen. I'm not worried about any part of this team. Not yet. It's way too early to start saying, I'm not. Oh my God, here we go again. Oh, I'm not going to the stadium. Nah, it's way too early. It's 8, 10 in the morning. Nobody wakes up with a bad mood unless they go out the night.
I beg to differ.
I woke
up pretty mad a couple days ago.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was going to say, but you don't let me finish. Unless you're Katie Wu in Boston, and you wake up regretting the next day what you did.
Oh, I have zero regrets. I do not regret anything.
No regrets, like that tattoo from that guy. No regrets.
I'm glad you talked about the bullpen. Let's talk about this. 2 righties that need to get right. Creative. Ryan Fernandez and Chris Roycroft. They are going to be 2 instrumental people in this bullpen. We talked about Ryan Helsley. Yeah, not a great outing from him on Sunday, game 1, but he's still Ryan Helsley. Phil Maton. If you're going to make one free agent signing, it better be a good one, Mr. Mozeliak, and it is a good one so far.
It's a great one.
You have really locked down the 8th and the 9th, but I thought it was interesting how we saw Fernandez and Roycroft used over the weekend. These are guys, Fernandez in particular, who has not fared well to start the season. And the Cardinals had slotted in Ryan Fernandez in this high leverage role for this year based on how well he did in his rookie year last year. He had a fantastic rookie campaign as their Rule 5 pick, and he's earned this opportunity. There's always going to be some setbacks and adjustments, right? And with Fernandez, it was clear very early on that he was struggling to locate his slider. And that's a big pitch for him. So this is not something that guys can fix in a bullpen session, especially young players and inexperienced players like Fernandez that, don't necessarily have the skills to adjust in real time yet because they haven't been in the league long enough to do so. So on Friday, we saw Fernandez enter the game with the Cardinals trailing. That's usually not the spot that Oli Marmol is going to use him in. However, he needs Fernandez to get right in real time. And he's not going to throw them in there with a lead if he knows that one of his setup guys is not feeling confident about how to land his slider and also his cutter. Those 2 pitches are correlated and related to each other and how Fernandez uses them. Oh my God. So throw Fernandez in. It doesn't go well. The Red Sox continue to score. He's still struggling, but he comes out of that game and he goes up to Oli and he comes up to the media after and he said, that outing was so helpful to me. My last 2 pitches I threw felt really good, and I think I figured out where I need to be. So we'll see in Pittsburgh what he looks like. I know he threw like 5 pitches in the 10th in that walk-off loss, but unearned run, he didn't put the guy on second. Rob Manfred did. Same situation with Chris Roycroft. Well, he's not going to be used in as high leverage situations as Fernandez yet because he is still relatively new. He's also going to be a big piece for this bullpen, not just this year, but going forward. And he was having a hard time landing his sinker. So he got roughed up, 2 stressful outings, he said. I believe he had 2 earned runs earlier in the week in his last outing. It doesn't look like the Chris Roycroft that the Cardinals expected to see. So when I saw him warming up and the Cardinals were down 18-3 in the 7th, I thought, what the heck are you doing? I didn't use heck, by the way. I was like, what? Put Burleson on the mound. You're not going to have enough pitching, Let me talk to you guys after the game. I did ask Oli Marmol, what was the point in having Roycroft in? Because obviously there's something you wanted to work with from him. There's no other reason he's in the game other than that. So that's exactly right. We put Roycroft in there because he needed to work in real time, a real game situation on landing his sinker. His mechanics were all out of whack. He didn't feel confident. He gets right in that game. And then he said, and I believe this is a perfect example of when we say development in the major leagues. The game had spiraled out of control by then. Roycroft's working on some stuff. He has the opportunity to do so in a big league setting. He walked out, go talk to him. I think he feels pretty confident. We walk over there, and he is like, this was helpful. This is exactly what I needed. I feel so much more confident going into the next series because I think I figured things out in real time. So I thought that was like a pretty good microcosm and maybe helpful for fans who are not quite understanding how this transition year, development year will play out. Those 2 situations over the weekend with Fernandez and Roycroft are not their usual usages, but they served a different purpose for the long run. And, I'm still a believer in the bullpen. I still think that they have a lot of weapons. And while it didn't make sense in real time, I do see what the purpose was there, and talking to both those pitchers and seeing the relief in real time makes sense.
And a lot of things don't make sense in real time, like that what you just said. I guarantee you, myself included, like, why are we doing? Why, if we are down by so many runs in the 7th, 8th inning, why don't we put Burleson to pitch? Why don't we put Donnie to pitch? Somebody that wants to throw a couple of pitches, and he brings the young guys. Now it makes all the sense in the world, right? Because if there's a position inside a major league roster that cannot go down to get fixed and come back up the next day, or cannot work things out on the side, it's a reliever. Because if you have a bullpen as a reliever before the game, then you're not going to play, you're not going to pitch that game. And if you pitch the night before, now you're really tired because you've been used 2 times in a row. How many times do we bang our heads when we see relievers warm up for an inning and a half? And then they come into the game and boom, boom, boom. So that's what happens. So you and the rest of St. Louis media that asked that question to Oli, that was a great question. And that puts light on a situation where a lot of us sometimes don't understand, right? And a lot of the fans don't have the chance to ask those questions, and you guys do, and you did. And what was the answer? Well, yes, I know that maybe tomorrow we're not going to be able to use him, but guess what? The season is not just tomorrow. It's only 9 games in the season. We need to work things out with these young kids. And if for some reason they cannot work it out while they are here in the big leagues, then we might send them down, bring somebody up, or go, sign somebody or make a trade and bring somebody else. So that to me, that makes perfect sense. And I hope that using them in those situations, even if they got, if they give up a bunch of hits, or as some people say, they got rocked, hopefully getting rocked that day means getting better the rest of the month, the rest of the season. And I like that. I like that. Like, give these kids a chance. Like, how many times we hear on the radio or whatever, oh, well, let them play. Let the kids play. Well, let them learn. Let them learn. Well, guess what? They are learning. And again, what is it, 4-5? That's not a bad, yeah, it's a losing record by 1 game, but it's not a bad record. Like, it really is not. Like, I like it. I like that. And now that you say that and you ask that question and you bring it to us here, now I feel a lot better. Like, for real, I'm not kidding. I feel a lot better because now I know that something that I knew, that it's hard for a bullpen piece to get better as they go. This is how you use them. This is how you help them get better. And yes, maybe they won't be available for today, but guess what? There's another game tomorrow. There's another game on Wednesday. Then we come home on Friday to face the Phillies. So I like that. I really do. And those guys, the Roy Krause, the Leahy, the Fernandez especially, they have the trust of the manager. They have the trust of Dusty and everybody else in that coaching staff. So when somebody trusts you, and just in general in life, when somebody gives you their trust, I don't think there's anything bigger that somebody can give you than their trust. If they trust you with secrets, with whatever, with life, with even when you're ranting about something, appreciate that. And I hope that the kids appreciate that trust. Everybody in that team, and talking about the bullpen, appreciates that and shows their appreciation by developing and by doing the best they can to succeed and be part of this team. Because I said it before, and I'm going to say it, this is going to be a fun season. We might not win, or the team might not win 100 games, 95 games, but this team is going to be there. It's going to be exciting. Like I said before in this show, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, I'm a very pessimistic person, but for some reason I trust this team in doing something good, right? And like I said the other day, if you're not here when we are not great, don't come back in September when we are about to celebrate and pop.
Oh, they will. That's the part of being the fan. You and I know this. We ride the roller coaster together, whether we want to or not. I can't escape it. It's everywhere. Neither can you.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I cannot wait. I mean, it's been too long since my little squinty Mexican eyes have been burned by champagne and beer. So it's time. And I see it coming. And hopefully the bullpen, and I know the bullpen is going to be a big piece. It's going to be a big piece. I mean, I like the hitting. I like the defense. I mean, we haven't talked about defense. They're to me, they're having a really good year. Everything is very, very tight. And I like it. Oli making some situations, some decisions that at times we scratch our heads, like yesterday. But now, thanks to you and only you, Katie Wu, now everybody knows why Roy Croft was pitching in the 8th inning against the Red Sox when the team was 18-3. And by the way, I don't know if we're going to talk about this, but the way the guys came back in the 9th inning, yes, I know it was like 10, 12 runs, but it would have been easy for them to just go in there and just try to pop up and let's go to Pittsburgh. This is done. No, they came and then boom, boom, boom. They made Alex Cora and the Red Sox at least scratch their heads and move around the dugout, because it was starting to get not uncomfortable, but it was starting to get to a point where like they might have to use their big relievers, right? Not just the guys, the mop-up guys or whatever you want to call them. They were about to start using their big guys because the Cardinals kept on coming. The young rebirds kept on coming. And I like that. I like that. I love that. I really do.
You can't see it, but I am doing it's cute. I like that little bird thing. Yeah, that. No, I agree. And they did that on Friday too, having to get Chapman in the game. We'll see how it goes. We'll break down the upcoming Pittsburgh Pirates series. But first, we got one more sponsor read to do.
More food?
Oh my gosh, where'd you go? There you are.
I'm here.
No, there you are. You need to talk to literally, what am I doing right now? What is going on?
I have no idea.
Like I said, 3 hours of sleep.
Tell me what it is and I'll just do it live.
No, I found it from our friends at FanDuel Sports Network. You can now stream the St. Louis Cardinals games through FanDuel Sports Network. And if you use the promo code BASEBALL30, you can start it off with a 30-day extended free trial at FanDuelSportsNetwork.com/packages. This deal expires May 2nd, 2025, $19.99 a month after free trial. Cancel during the free trial to avoid charges. Eligibility restrictions apply. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. Yay.
And I believe with the SAP option, you can listen to my lovely voice with Benji Molina doing the game in Spanish. So I love the way Chip does it with Brad and Alexa and everybody at the network. But if you want to give us a little chance, just go to the SAP option on your app or whatever. And, you might be entertained by a Yabba Dabba Doo or something interesting like that. That makes no sense when it comes down to baseball. But then again, baseball makes no sense.
Baseball makes no sense.
And
do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy working in such a nonsensical industry?
Yes, because I make no sense. I make no sense. And one of the sayings that I heard from the great Manny Mota, pinch hitter extraordinaire from the 70s and 80s with the Dodgers, he used to tell me all the time, and once in a while still, is like, Polo, baseball is so weird that the baseball is round and it comes inside a square box. Make that make sense, right? There's the baseball, there's the square box, there's little holes, there's little ways, air. So the fans and everybody else, we need to fill up that box with little grains of happiness and enjoy baseball, because at the end, it's a great sport. It's a family event. Bring your kids. I know that, my kids and I, and a lot of people that I know, we have a tight relationship because of baseball and because of sports. Because when we lose, we are all hurting. And when we win, we are all celebrating. And we cannot say that about everything in life. But with sports, with baseball, when we lose, trust me, we all hurt the same. And when we win, well, some like Katie will celebrate a little extra. But
I'm on your
but yeah, sometimes we celebrate Katie Wu. But yeah. Thanks for having me again, Katie. I mean, this is fun. It's like 30-some minutes, and they go by really, really fast. And why? One, because you're Katie Wu. You're the queen. Two, because it's baseball. It's freaking like baseball.
This is like every phone call we've ever had where we're both like, okay, just a quick call. And then the next thing I know, it's been an hour and a half.
I know.
That's just because, I don't know, it's fun.
We click.
We get each other. That's why we're friends.
No. Wait, put it over here. No, go this way. Go the other way.
What?
Yeah, the other hand. Use the other hand. No, use the other hand. No, to the other side. I see you on the other side.
I don't know how this is working.
Your other hand. There. Now get close to the middle. Get it close to the middle. More. A little more. There you go. Kinda. It's a crooked heart like the one you have, or whatever you have left of your heart. But anyway.
All right. Got him. The Cardinals will take on the Cardinals take on the Pirates starting today at 6:40 Eastern Time. Matthew Liberatore gets a start against Carmen Lubensky, who was a reliever last year, high leverage guy with nasty stuff to the point where I walked into Oli Marmol's office after a game, and we were both like, what the heck was that? He stretched out as a starter with both Jared Jones and old friend Johan Oviedo on the IL to start the year. Big primetime matchup on Tuesday. Sonny Gray, Paul Skeens. I did see snow in the forecast, which is absolutely disgusting. So hopefully it is not that bad. And then Wednesday, getaway day, Eric Petty, Mitch Keller. Cardinals will see some pretty tough arms. I looked at I don't know if the Phillies have set their probables, but I was just looking at, what it's projecting as, and you should see Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, I believe, with Pittsburgh. I mean, not Pittsburgh, with Philadelphia, maybe Jesus Luzardo. So it'll be a good test for this offense that we are pretty excited about, and we'll see how this looks in just a couple of hours. My friend Polo Ascencio, thank you so much for joining me, the voice of the Spanish radio broadcast of the St. Louis Cardinals. You can follow him on both Twitter and Instagram. I recommend Instagram, hilarious content, at PoloView on IG. Every now and then it's like a disgusting photo of me, so if we could just avoid that, I'd be okay. No, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see you over the weekend. Maybe we'll get some Ted Drews, get some T-Rogs, all the things to enjoy.
All the things that we enjoy in San Luis. And again, you can listen to our broadcast, La Tremenda 880 on the app, or our friends at FanDuel, SAP, Polo Ascencio, Benji Molina. And perhaps, if somebody else asks me to come back, I mean, I'm not saying somebody else besides you, but, the fans want me back. I'll be back for the fans because I'm a man of the people. I'm the people's champ, like The Rock. When he was good Rock, now he is bad Rock. I don't like him.
He's bad Rock now. You kind of look like The Rock with the black shirt and the chain. But it's more like right.
It's more like Stone Cold, Steve Austin. Because he's bald. I'm wearing this hat. By the way, do you get this thing? It's play ball. Cute.
Get it? All right. Cardinals fans, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, I'll be back with Bertie Mikolas for at least 2 more episodes this week. For Polo Ascencio, I'm Katie Wu. I got to make my way to work. We'll talk soon.